Okay, so we're not too much longer now. We've only got two more of our speakers, and then I am going to open the mic up. So I'm just going to introduce, I think it's Azhar who is speaking. Is it Azhar or where are you? He is here, isn't he? Okay, I can't see him a minute. Ah, there he is. Okay, yes, they're on their way up. So we've got Azhar and Amir. These two gentlemen are absolutely amazing. They've done a lot of work up in Birmingham when the RSE hit the schools there years before we even knew about it. So without further ado, thank you, Azhar.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming around today. First of all, I'd like to thank the PCP. Guys, you're doing an extremely brilliant job. Thank you very much. So going back to 2019, when the Birmingham parents actually started to campaign, there's two things I like to focus on. One, safeguarding, and the second thing is unity, the importance of unity. So back in 2019, when the parents came out and started a protest in Birmingham, the reason why we started a protest is because children were returning home sexualized and gender confused. We had little girls, little boys coming back home, telling their parents, girls telling their mothers and fathers that they want to become boys, and boys telling their parents they want to become girls. Things got out of hand, and the parents wanted to engage with the school, they wanted to speak with the school and solve this matter peacefully. Unfortunately, it led to protests. Guys, the first thing I'd like to say is our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. And nothing matters more to us than our beloved children. Before we have children, we take an oath. We take an oath to love them, protect them, and educate them in the best manner. Now, why did the Birmingham parents start to campaign? Why did they come out onto the streets? Already the Birmingham parents and Muslims felt intimidated with all the demonization and everything they were going through. It was things like the All About Me program, which was promoting masturbation to 4-year-olds. It was a program created by Johnny Hunt, and basically it was promoting and encouraging 4-year-olds to touch themselves. Then we saw what was happening in the Tavistock Clinic, where young children from the age of 2, 3 and 4 onwards, according to David Bell's report, who was the leader of the Psychoanalytic Society, he said children from the age of 3, or you could probably research it up yourselves, at least 2, were being brought in for gender dysphoria. Now last year, the Tavistock Clinic was closed down, and over 1,000 parents have basically sued it. Can you imagine how many children have been damaged through this? And this has all happened on our watch. What on earth is going on with our society? What on earth is going on with all the parents? These children cannot protect themselves. They need us to protect them. What's happened to the education system that our grandfathers and great-grandfathers came running to the UK for? We had a great education system. If my grandfather and great-grandfather could see which way the education system has turned now, they'll be twisting in their graves. The Birmingham parents in the start of 2019 basically got together. The whole community got together to stop this. We were a community that we just said hello to each other as we were walking past on the streets. But when this thing came to light, we all got together. We created a group, and we basically sat on the table and we decided, we made plans, action plans, how to go about it. We educated ourselves, we researched, we looked at the laws, and the laws actually favored us. The European Convention on Human Rights clearly said every parent has a legal right to educate their children in conformity to their religious and philosophical convictions. But yet, the Muslim parents, when they came out, we didn't come out because we were Muslims. We came out just to defend and protect the innocence of our children. It doesn't matter what background, what faith, or where we come from. Ultimately, we come from one man, one woman. Whether you look at it archaeologically or whether you look at it religiously, we are all related indirectly. So we need to stop looking at each other's skin colors and backgrounds, and we need to come together and unite. Just like the Birmingham parents came together, otherwise it would have been an impossible task. We stopped this kind of education in many schools. At the time, it wasn't mandatory. It was, that was in 2019, so it hadn't become compulsory at that time. But schools were still pushing this down the children's throats and telling the parents that it is mandatory and it has to be taught. There wasn't a consultation. Many parents I did speak to, and I asked them, were you consulted? Most parents said we weren't consulted. Why weren't the parents consulted? And even after the consultations, when the parents saw the materials and viewed the materials, and they were totally unacceptable, like the All About Me program, which was taught in 241 schools in Warwickshire, it is absolutely insane that there was a program where teachers were speaking to children about self-stimulation. It's absolutely insane. And then the media twisted it and turned it against the Birmingham parents, that they're homophobic, they're transphobic, they're bigots and extremists. Why? Because we want to protect our children. It was never about the LGBT community or any other community. We teach our children equality and diversity every day. We teach our children to respect all genders. We teach our children to respect their elders. We teach our children to respect everyone, the community and everyone around it. We don't need to be taught equality and diversity. This is something that is being passed on to us by our parents and grandparents and so on. So this isn't something here that, you know. But anyway, going back to the protest, we had absolutely no choice. The schools weren't listening to us, the MPs weren't supporting us, and the government wasn't supporting us. So we had absolutely no choice. My main message today is this is a safeguarding issue. This isn't about religion or anything else. This is simply about safeguarding, protecting our children in schools. A few months ago, I was actually watching one of the breakfast shows. And on the breakfast shows, there was a couple of women. One was against, the program was about naked education, promoting naked education into schools. Now, one of the mothers was against it and the other one was for it. When I was watching this, I was thinking, for God's sake, what on earth are we witnessing? They want to bring in a program into schools under the curriculum, as a part of the curriculum, where children completely undress themselves. And every child can see each other's bodies. And the mother that was for it was selling it by saying that children need to be confident with their bodies. Now this is like opening another can of worms. Can you imagine the bullying, the discrimination and the sexualization that will take place in classrooms if all the children stripped nude? Absolutely crazy. You could actually YouTube this. I'm pretty sure it's still on YouTube, but this is absolutely insane. We've been supporting the PCP now for about 3 years, and we've seen some amazing things. Last year when Kim and everyone in the PCP had their court hearing, we saw so many people from different backgrounds. We saw Muslims, Christians, people of non-faith, all coming together on one common cause. My main message today is the only way we could change things. Nobody else cares about your children. Nobody. The only person that cares about their children is yourselves, the parents. So guys, please get together. This is absolutely insane. Things have gone far enough. If you read some of the stuff and hear some of the stories that I've been listening to, it's absolutely insane, where parents have said their children have been given homework about asking their parents what masturbation is like, stuff like that. It's absolutely insane. And everything I'm telling you here, you could actually Google it up, you could actually look at it. I'm pretty sure Kim and the PCP have got a lot of the materials, especially the All About Me program that was encouraging 4-year-olds to touch themselves. And this thing is, how do you separate pedophilia from what's being taught in schools, especially in the All About Me program? You've got an adult teacher asking the children, how does it feel to play with yourselves? If that is not a safeguarding concern, then what is? So guys, I like to end with a quote that a single bee is ignored, but when thousands and millions come together, the bravest run in fear. So please come together and let's protect the children. I'd like to pass the mic on to my dear friend and colleague Amir Ahmed now, and he was a main key figure fighting in the Parkfield campaign, and he could say a few words as well. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, this should be okay. Thank you. Yep, that's all right. Thank you. Hello. Thank you there to Azhar for his talk there. My name's Amir Ahmed. I participated and in fact was one of the leaders in the Birmingham school protests. And I just want to say a little bit about the politics that takes place in this whole issue. And it's driven very much on from a political point of view. We had parents in a school of around 1,000 children, who almost 99% of the parents did not wish that their children are taught these. That they were traditional and conservative parents, so they had conservative family values. We had Rebecca on earlier on. What we wish for our children is that they grow up. They have children of their own in a family where the mother and father are together, and they raise their children in a loving environment. That's what a family is, and this sort of extreme sexually liberal ideology, it breaks that up, and that's what they call it. They call the family a social construct. They do not consider family as being a natural human evolution, a part of human evolution that we have. We are born, we become adults, and then we have families of our own in a committed relationship. This isn't what's being taught in this ideology. It is deliberately being taught in a manner where the sexuality is much more free. And the children are taught this throughout primary and secondary school. And as a consequence, committed relationships become difficult, and raising a family with your own children, your own biological children, becomes difficult as well. Our schools are there so that our children can raise strong families. But that's not what's happening. This type of education is not increasing families, the strength of within a committed relationship, and the longevity in these relationships. But anyway, we have conservative families all over Britain, and I think much of Britain believes in conservative family values, and we had almost 1,000 parents. Well, it would be about 2,000 parents that did not wish this teaching to be taught, and they went and they went to such because the school wasn't listening. After petition after petition, they even boycotted the school and still they weren't listening. And this is because the local authority was against these parents. The education department was against these parents. The teaching unions were against the parents, and Ofsted was also against the parents. And this was all politically motivated. The main parties in Birmingham, we have a Labour-led council, and Labour have a very strong lobby that is full of these extreme liberals that push this sexual ideology, and this is what we were fighting against. The law, in fact, these teachers were breaking the law. When you know that your community, the community that the school belongs to, is a conservative community, and then you force upon their children morals that are not conservative, that is just against the law. There's no regulation for it, and it's purely ideologically driven, and that is what we're fighting against. We were also taken to court in Birmingham for protesting by the local authority. I know Kim from PCP Wales. They've also gone to court to try and push this legislation back in Wales. But what we're really fighting against is the politically driven agenda. And this is why I'm here today, in front of the Houses of Parliament, and it's actually so important that we realize that it's a political agenda. It is not about equality. They pushed the equality that this was about respect and tolerance. Well, in fact, they are the ones that are disrespectful and intolerant of our moral values. And yet they're talking to us about respect and tolerance. It was pure deception, and this is why the parents got so frustrated in Birmingham that they were saying one thing to the parents, and they were teaching their children something else. It's really astonishing that we should have that happen in a modern society. It was deceptive. It was cheating the parents, and they were really. They had broken the parents' trust in them. And I think a lot of parents across Britain don't seem to realize this, that the school isn't acting in good faith. In fact, the school is probably frightened that there may be political implications for them, but if they choose not to promote this type of ideology. And often what happens, and this is what happened in the Birmingham schools, is that you get one ideologically driven teacher like Andrew Moffat, whom we had in Birmingham, and he then pushes the agenda, saying that it's about equality, and he literally frightens the school leadership, the council, into believing that if they don't support his agenda, that there will be a political outcry. And this is what we've got to fight. We've got to stop being frightened of raising it as an issue, as a political issue, because it's the politics that is forcing this issue on us. When in a democracy you can't do that. It's a free working democracy. You can't do that in a democracy. And it's the corruption in the politics, the lying, the cheating, the deception, and the misleading that is the reason why. In fact, I would say that parents across the country are not in an outcry over it, because they don't quite appreciate that it is political. It is not to do with equality, and also, much more importantly, remember that this is an ideology. It's like a religion. They're forcing a religion on our children that says.
Wait 1 second.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, we're just fixing the mics. Sorry. No longer. Okay. Actually, what's very important is that we must understand that it is an ideology. It's like a religion, and what they want from us is that what they want to do is to break the traditional family unit. That is really the ultimate aim of it, and that is what will happen. And you can see that in the way our youngsters are develop committed relationships. They tend to be very short. They have multiple partners, and raising a strong family requires that it is a committed relationship, and that is what should be taught in our schools. Look. Earlier we had Rebecca and others come up. I have been married for 40 years, and you won't get that if it's not the traditional, the traditional family values are not pushed in our schools, and we've got to get back to the traditional values. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Amir just said about traditional family values. I was reading an article not too long ago published by Harvard University, and Harvard University conducted an experiment into looking at all the families producing the best children, and they found the most successful children actually came from religious backgrounds in every manner. They produced they academically done well, they found better partners and went into getting better jobs. So just going back to what Amir just said there, I absolutely agree with that, and so does Harvard University. So thank you very much, guys.